Have you ever felt that something ancient burns inside you, a fire that never goes out, as if the sun itself lived in your flesh? What you're about to hear is not a story but a revelation, the secret story of the light that builds life and awakens consciousness. For millennia, man has gazed at the sun, venerating it without truly understanding it. He believed it to be the source of earthly life, unaware that it reawakens life itself in the heart of human beings. The sun is not just a celestial body, it is consciousness, an ordering frequency that regenerates and remembers. The Egyptians called it Ra, and for them, every dawn was a cosmic resurrection. The Maya conceived it as the pulsating heart of the sky. The Vedas identified it with Surya, the principle that purifies body and mind, and the alchemists recognized in the inner gold its essence reflected in human blood. Today, science, using modern language, confirms ancient wisdom. The light of dawn activates cellular repair genes, regulates melatonin and serotonin, and synchronizes the heart and the earth. This is not mythology, but a practice of awareness. Conscious exposure to the sun regenerates the body, balances the mind, and expands consciousness. Absorbing light means remembering one's origins. Ancient civilizations revered it not as a remote deity, but as a silent teacher who teaches the soul to awaken. Every culture passed down, with different symbols, the same truth. Sunlight does not age, but rather orders life. The Egyptians, tireless observers, noted that each ray carried information. Light awakens plants, animals, and finally man. But if he does not awaken with gratitude, he remains asleep even as he walks. Modern chronobiology simply repeats this ancient lesson. There is a sacred order in the awakening of life. In the temple of Ra, dawn was treated as a cosmic resurrection. The god passed through the darkness of the Duat to re-emerge each day, restoring harmony to the universe. The Egyptians did not worship the sun out of blind faith, but through observation. It was living consciousness, not mere celestial fire. As Thoth wrote in the Hermetic texts, all life is light that has learned to remember itself. The priests knew the therapeutic power of the morning rays. The sick improved at sunrise. The midday rituals charged the body with a subtle energy called Sekhem, the vital flow of Ra. In medical potpourri, such as the Ebers, sunlight was prescribed to cure infections and melancholy, since Ra must enter the blood. The visible sun was only the shadow of the inner sun dwelling in the human heart. The heart was not intended as a blood pump, but rather as the Ib, the seat of consciousness and personal fire. Every being held a spark of Ra, which could be extinguished by forgetfulness or fear, but rekindled through conscious gratitude. If you already feel something vibrating within you, release your hype now, because the more enthusiasm we bring to this video, the more its light will reach other minds ready to awaken. Now breathe and let the knowledge begin. Each morning the initiates greeted the light with a deep breath, declaring, "I greet the sun that lives within me," not as a prayer, but as an activation of presence. They intuited what quantum physics today articulates. Consciousness and light are intertwined. Observing with gratitude is a creative, not a passive act. It reorganizes cells and nourishes the Ka, the life force that nourishes body and spirit through light and conscious breathing. Human beings are literally children of light. After millennia, modern biophysics has confirmed what those priests intuitively perceived. The German Fritz Albert Popp demonstrated that every living cell emits photons, tiny flashes of coherent radiation. Health is luminous order, disease is disharmony of light. Morning sunlight, rich in red and infrared frequencies, restores the harmony of internal biophotons. The outer sun tunes the inner sun. DNA itself acts as a light antenna that receives and transmits photons, modulating genetic activation. The Egyptians called it Ra and Sekhem. Modern science calls it biophotonics. Both describe the same reality, life as organized light that remembers itself. Applying this wisdom doesn't require temples, but presence. Exposing yourself to the sunrise, breathing slowly, and letting the golden warmth penetrate your skin and blood is a gesture of resonance and memory. Gratitude activates the nervous system, synchronizing heart, brain, and earth, generating electromagnetic coherence and profound well-being. The HeartMath Institute has demonstrated that conscious gratitude produces cardiac coherence, strengthens the immune system, and clarifies the mind. The ancients knew it without tools. The sun not only illuminates, but also remembers. Light does not age, it endures, orders, and renews. In the Yucatan jungle, for the Maya, time was not a line, but a cyclical breath. They built cities oriented to the path of the sun. At Chichen Itza, the shadow of the serpent descends the pyramid during the equinoxes, manifesting the geometric language of light. The astronomer priests traced with mathematical precision the movements of the sun, moon, and Venus, not out of curiosity, but to understand the law of cosmic rhythm. For them, the sun not only illuminated space, but also generated time. The Tzolk'in, a sacred 260-day calendar, mirrored the human gestational cycle and the resonance between the sun, earth, and the body. Each day had its own frequency, a luminous tone that modulated the individual's vibration. To be born on a certain day meant embodying that specific quality of light. The Aztecs elevated this wisdom to a heroic dimension. The sun, Tonatiuh, was a warrior who fought the darkness every day. They recognized the tonali, a vital energy located at the crown of the head, as the point of contact between the body and the sun, today identified with the pineal gland. When the morning light touched the forehead, the tonali was recharged with strength. Aztec healers diagnosed illness as a temporal disharmony. Those who missed dawn, those who slept out of rhythm, fell out of alignment with the solar cycle. The cure consisted of realigning oneself with the light, waking at dawn, breathing consciously, letting the light restore the shattered order. For the Maya and Aztecs, the body does not exist in time. It is time made flesh, and the sun writes its cycles in every cell. Mankind, separated from the sun, loses harmony with its own biological symphony. Modern chronobiology confirms that every cell has its own genetic clock, synchronized by natural light. When the sun touches the eyes, a pulse reaches the suprachiasmatic nucleus of the brain, the master of circadian rhythms, which regulates hormones, temperature, and metabolism. Without that solar signal, the body loses coherence. Sleep becomes distorted, digestion becomes confused, and mood declines. Studies by Sachidananda Panda and Michael Rosbash have shown that disconnection from natural light accelerates aging and impairs cellular regeneration. Ancient cultures called this disorder loss of tone, or tzolk'in. Science calls it circadian desynchronization. Restoring your balance is a daily act. Exposing yourself to natural light every morning within an hour of waking up, breathing deeply, and feeling the solar vibrations on your skin. Recognizing internally that the same force that moves the planets governs the cells, restores biological order and mental clarity. This isn't a symbolic gesture, it's a physiological necessity. Ancient civilizations built entire cities to capture light at specific times. Modern man simply has to remember to go out at dawn. The sun doesn't measure time, it creates it within us. In the ancient schools of Persia, alchemists did not seek to transform lead into gold out of a lust for wealth, but to understand how light is converted into life. Zoroastrian texts tell of Ahura Mazda, Lord of Light and Wisdom. The Persian sages observed that every living being contains a subtle fire, the kvarena, an invisible splendor that distinguishes the living from the inanimate. They studied the light in the blood, intuiting that life flows like liquid gold beneath the skin. They considered blood not merely a fluid, but light in motion. When it loses its luminosity, the body dies, even though the heart still beats. The ancient Persians noted how light, nutrition, and respiration altered the quality of blood, and discovered the extraordinary relationship between chlorophyll and hemoglobin, two almost identical molecular architectures in which magnesium shines at the center of the first and an iron atom in the second. From this analogy, they deduced that animal and plant life share the same solar genealogy. Plants capture light and transform it into chlorophyll. Humans, by feeding on it, transmute it into hemoglobin. Thus, the vital chain, sun, plant, blood, life, became the formula of existence for the Persian sages. Over the centuries, this knowledge passed in secret form to the European Hermetic schools, where Paracelsus proclaimed that illness is neither a demon nor a punishment, but a loss of inner light. For the Swiss Renaissance physician, the human body is composed of three principles: salt, sulfur, and mercury, or substance, fire, and spirit. Sulfur, symbolizing the solar principle, burns in the lifeblood, and the purity of the blood determines its flame. Purifying the blood, therefore, means restoring its ability to convey light. Paracelsus taught that true medicine consists in consciously absorbing the light of the sun, breathing it in, and guiding it so that it illuminates the blood from within. Modern biochemistry confirms this intuition with scientific language. Chlorophyll and hemoglobin share a structure and function. Both transport energy, one in the form of photons, the other as oxygen. When humans consume foods rich in chlorophyll, such as spinach, seaweed, or green herbs, fragments of the molecule are incorporated into the blood, promoting oxygenation and purity. It's as if the memory of the sun were once again flowing through the veins. Studies by Japanese biochemist Yoshihide Hagiwara revealed that chlorophyll, plant blood, purifies and regenerates, improving cellular coherence. In alchemical terms, it is the philosopher's gold that flows silently through the human body. Every morning, after sunbathing, eating green foods renews the luminous river that keeps us alive. Plants are solidified light, and feeding on them literally means eating the sun. For alchemists, breathing was a sacred act. Inhaling means attracting pneuma, vital energy. When you breathe slowly under the light, the iron in your blood captures oxygen just as chlorophyll captures photons. Movement, then, prevents the inner light from stagnating. Walking or dancing under the sun makes the fire of life circulate. The gold the alchemists sought outside was already burning within, in the illuminated blood. At the end of the 19th century, Nikola Tesla, an electrical genius, realized that the sun does not transmit just heat or visible light, but an entire spectrum of organized frequencies, a cosmic language that informs living matter. He wrote that the sun is the transmitter, the earth the receiver, and man the antenna that translates vibration into consciousness. He discovered that a constant resonance vibrates between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere, now known as the Schumann frequency, 783 Hz, the planet's electromagnetic pulse. Surprisingly, the same frequency characterizes brainwaves in states of calm or deep meditation. The human brain, therefore, resonates with the Earth, and the Earth receives its impulse from the Sun, a single cosmic symphony. When humans isolate themselves from this natural resonance, their health declines, not from chemical deficiency, but from a loss of coherence. Tesla understood that sunlight is organized information that interacts with the fields of the human body. The heart generates the most powerful electromagnetic field in the body. The brain emits waves, and every cell vibrates in a microscopic electrical circuit. All these fields are in constant communication with solar and terrestrial frequencies. The sun, Tesla wrote, doesn't just heat, it synchronizes. His towers, built to transmit energy wirelessly, were technically unsuccessful, but they embodied a prophetic vision. Matter is organized light. In the 20th century, neurophysicist Michael Persinger confirmed that magnetic fields influence brain activity. Certain frequencies, close to Earth's resonance, induce neural coherence, clarity, and a sense of connection. Solar storms, on the other hand, can disrupt human equilibrium, generating anxiety or insomnia, not because of the sun's malevolence, but because of a disharmony between its rhythms and those of humans. The HeartMath Institute showed that when a person experiences gratitude or conscious love, the heart's field synchronizes with the Earth's frequency. It's a measurable phenomenon. Gratitude stabilizes heart and brain waves, strengthening immunity and clarity. Tesla realized that no machine is needed to receive this energy. Presence is enough. Sitting in the sun, breathing slowly, and perceiving your heartbeat as an echo of cosmic light means tuning into the original frequency. In that act, the heart becomes an antenna that translates light into coherence. Modern experiments show that this simple practice reduces stress and harmonizes body and mind. The sun not only illuminates, it communicates with the soul. In ancient Greece, Pythagoras taught that the universe is written in numerical language. Among all mathematical ratios, one was sacred to him, the golden ratio, F 1.618, the invisible architecture of the cosmos. It appears in galaxies, in flowers, in marine shells, and in the proportions of the human body, and even in the distribution of the sun's light frequencies, which obey this harmony. For the Pythagoreans, geometry was medicine. The healthy body reflects the proportions of the universe, the sick one loses them. Healing means restoring the internal geometric order, and the most direct way to do this is to expose oneself to sunlight, the celestial geometer. The pyramids, Gothic cathedrals, and Renaissance works reflected the same golden law, but the most perfect temple is the human body. Leonardo da Vinci depicted the Vitruvian Man inscribed in the circle and the square, a symbol of embodied solar harmony. Even the double helix of DNA follows the golden ratio. Life itself is the geometry of the sun. Studies by biophysicist Dan Winter have shown that the human heart, in states of love or deep peace, emits waves that follow the golden sequence, literally singing in the language of the universe. Dr. Pop, measuring the light of cells, discovered that the light of healthy cells is coherent and geometric, while that of diseased cells is chaotic. Disease, therefore, is a loss of proportion. Human biological rhythms also follow the Fibonacci spiral, the same one that holds galaxies and sunflowers. Lifetime is helical, not linear. The body measures days in golden spirals. Pythagoras taught three ways to restore harmony: light, sound, and balanced breathing. Visualizing light as a living geometry penetrating the body, listening to sounds tuned to 432 or 528 Hz, breathing in golden rhythms. These gestures recreate the shape of the cosmos in the body. The temple of light is within us. Every cell is an architect of solar geometry. On the Himalayan peaks, more than 5,000 years ago, the Vedic sages discovered that breathing is not just about taking in air, but about moving light. The Vedas describe prana, the life force that sustains all existence, not an abstract concept, but solar energy diffused through the air, water, and food. Without it, the body is an inert shell, even if the heart continues to beat. Conscious breathing thus became a bridge between the visible and the invisible. With each inhalation, the human being absorbs solar prana, which flows through the body's energy channels, the nada, illuminating every cell. In Vedic texts, the god Surya is described as the great breather of the universe. He inhales darkness and exhales light, keeping the cosmos alive. The human who breathes with solar awareness becomes his reflection. Among the most ancient techniques, the Surya Bedana Pranayama stands out. The breath that pierces the sun. Inhale through the right nostril, associated with the Pingala channel, visualizing the golden light penetrating the chest. It wasn't just physical exercise, but a spiritual technology of photonic assimilation. At the heart of this knowledge is the pineal gland, described in tantric texts as the third eye, capable of perceiving light without sensory mediation. Centuries later, Descartes defined it as the seat of the soul, recognizing its exact position and shape as a small luminous pine cone. The Vedas already knew that it is photosensitive, a true antenna that transforms light frequencies into endocrine signals. The ritual of Surya Namaskar, literally salutation to the sun, was a code of pineal activation. During dawn, the body, breath, and mind aligned to awaken the inner eye. Contemporary science confirms its accuracy. The pineal gland is the most light-sensitive tissue after the retina. It produces melatonin, a sleep regulator, and dimethyltryptamine, a molecule associated with consciousness-expanding experiences. The production of both depends on exposure to morning light. The lack of this stimulus leads to calcification of the gland, a very widespread phenomenon today. In the human brain, the pineal gland receives light signals via photosensitive cells in the retina that react to the blue light of the aurora. This creates a direct channel between the external sun and the internal sun. The Vedas left instructions for reactivating this center. At sunrise, stand barefoot, gently close your eyes, and let the light filter through your eyelids. Breathe slowly while visualizing a golden flame igniting in the midpoint of your head. repeating the breath in the same rhythm, inhalation, retention, and exhalation for 4 seconds, for 5 minutes a day allows the light to awaken the gland and with it inner perception. It's not fantasy, but the practice of natural neurophysiology. The pineal gland, illuminated, regulates hormones, rhythms, and lucidity. The Vedic sages lived long lives, breathing the sun every morning as a sacred medicine. In the heart of medieval Europe, alchemists sought the same truth with other symbols. Paracelsus claimed that true gold is not found in mines, but in the human body, and that sunlight is the key to its activation. For him, disease is cellular oblivion. Cells forget their perfect form, and light restores them to their original memory. Alchemy, therefore, was the science of luminous regeneration. The solar symbols in the Hermetic manuscripts were not decorations, but codes of transformation. Transmuting lead into gold meant returning dense matter to its radiant purity. The philosophical fire was consciously absorbed sunlight. The azoth, the universal substance of alchemical texts, represented the light metabolized by the living body, the principle of all regeneration. Nicolas Flamel wrote that the true laboratory is the human body exposed to the aurora. The practice of solar immersion involves sitting naked under the first rays of the sun, visualizing its rays penetrating the solar plexus and radiating throughout the body. This was not suggestion, but a process of cellular reprogramming. Today, quantum biology confirms that the cell membrane responds to light by modifying genetic expression. Biologist Bruce Lipton demonstrated that genes are not destiny, but switches activated by environmental signals, and light is the most powerful of these. Exposing the body to natural light stimulates regeneration and longevity genes, while chronic darkness activates survival and aging pathways. Nobel laureate Yoshinori Ohsumi discovered that the process of autophagy, by which cells cleanse and renew themselves, is enhanced by exposure to morning light. When sunlight touches cells, they increase their biophoton output, restoring order and coherence. The external sun rekindles the internal sun. The ancients called this practice light bathing and accompanied it with visualization, a golden sun in the solar plexus that, with each breath, expands to illuminate the heart, brain, and viscera. Each cell, remembering, reorders itself into its primordial form. The HeartMath Institute has demonstrated that imaging combined with cardiac coherence changes gene expression within minutes. Alchemists searched for centuries for the philosopher's stone, failing to realize that it coincided with the illuminated body, matter organized by light. The gold that shines within is life remembering itself. In the monasteries of the Egyptian desert, the fathers of early Christianity discovered that the human heart does not just pump blood, it radiates light. Saint Macarius the Great wrote that the heart is a small sun, and that sincere love lights it up until it fills the entire body with radiance. This was not an allegory, but a direct experience of inner transformation. The prayer of the heart, or hesychasm, consisted of repeating a sacred formula while concentrating one's attention in the chest, facing the rising sun. Saint Simeon the New Theologian described the vision of a light that came simultaneously from within and without, transforming the heart into a living lamp. The mystics understood that love is not a feeling but a physical state of biological coherence. The Templars inherited this teaching from Eastern monks and Sufis. The heart, or qalb, is the organ of perception, a bridge between spirit and matter. When it vibrates in gratitude, it emits waves that synchronize with the sun. Modern studies confirm that the heart's magnetic field is thousands of times more powerful than the brain's and extends for meters into the surrounding space, influencing other hearts in proximity. Saint Teresa of Avila told of a flame that pierced her heart without burning it, perceived as an inner divine light. Today, neurocardiology interprets that experience as a state of maximum electromagnetic and neurochemical coherence. In such moments, brain waves, heart rhythm, and the endocrine system harmonize, promoting healing and clarity. The HeartMath Institute has measured how deep gratitude produces orderly heartbeats that spread throughout the body. The coherence between the heart, brain, and breathing activates feel-good hormones and reduces stress. When two people resonate, their magnetic fields synchronize, Love becomes a shared frequency. The heart, therefore, is the most intelligent of organs because it communicates with the universe through light. At sunrise, placing your hands on your chest, breathing slowly and cultivating gratitude allows you to activate this sun of the heart. Cardiac coherence is the language with which man communicates with the cosmos. Each heartbeat is a ray of light that unites the interior and exterior. The sun of the heart never goes out, it simply waits to be recognized. 4 billion years ago, Earth was a desert of rock and steam, devoid of oxygen and color. Then a tiny creature, a primordial bacterium, learned to feed on light. From that act, photosynthesis was born, the ability to transform photons into living matter. Plants, descendants of that luminous cell, became the first beings capable of creating energy without destroying other life. The atmosphere filled with oxygen, and the inert planet became a garden. Every living creature, breathing, became indebted to that miracle. Eating a plant is equivalent to assimilating solidified light. Breathing is accepting the gift of solar energy made visible by chlorophyll. The entire biological chain, sun, plant, animal, and human, is a single current of light perpetuated throughout life on Earth. Ancient cultures knew this. The Celts spoke of the green spirit that permeates the forests. The Druids taught that touching a tree at dawn transfers solar energy to the body, and Native American peoples revered plants as daughters of the sun. Today, science recognizes that human cells host mitochondria, ancient descendants of photosynthetic bacteria, still sensitive to light and custodians of the original solar memory. Lynn Margulis's research showed that mitochondria possess autonomous DNA, similar to that of cyanobacteria, the first creatures to capture light. Every human cell, therefore, retains within itself the memory of an era when feeding on the sun was natural. When light reaches the skin, the mitochondria react by recognizing the vibration that generated them. Thus, humans, although not photosynthetic, remain solar beings by memory. Scientist Gerald Pollack discovered that body water is not amorphous, but is organized into ordered structures that retain light energy. This structured water is formed by sunlight and the influence of plants, which radiate coherent photons and harmonious electromagnetic fields. Walking barefoot in the grass at dawn is not a poetic habit, but a real electroluminescent exchange with the biosphere. Chlorophyll, similar to hemoglobin, testifies to an ancestral bond. Plants transform photons into chemical energy. Humans transform oxygen into life, and when they eat greenery, they renew that bond. Pioneering physicians such as Bircher Benner noted that chlorophyll regenerates the blood and instills vitality. Fresh foods, rich in coherent light, enhance cellular luminosity, while artificial foods dull this harmony. Reconnecting with the green sun means spending time among living plants, breathing in their breath, and nourishing ourselves with their still vibrant substance. Drinking green juices or eating raw leaves is absorbing light already transformed into vital matter. Cultivating even a single plant becomes an act of communion. The earth sustains, but it is the sun that creates. All life on earth is a memory of the light that created it. In 1905, Albert Einstein demonstrated that light is both a wave and a particle, and that its behavior changes when observed. The photon, an indivisible element of energy, appears to possess awareness. Quantum physics experiments showed that light responds to the act of observation, as if consciousness influenced reality itself. The universe, wrote David Bohm, is an immense hologram of luminous information. Fritz Albert Popp confirmed that cells communicate through biophotons and that DNA is a true light antenna. Every living body is in constant communication with the field of light that surrounds it. Matter is slowed down light, organized into a stable form. Einstein's equation, ERmc2, indicates that all mass is condensed energy. Therefore, what we call a body is light moving slowly, a luminous memory taking on consistency. The physics of entanglement demonstrates that two particles of light, once joined, remain connected instantaneously at any distance. Nothing is separate. Everything communicates through the network of light. If our bodies are made of slowed down photons, then every cell maintains an invisible connection with the sun. Luc Montagnier's discoveries showed that DNA can transmit electromagnetic information even over distances. Life communicates through light. Exposing oneself to the sun, therefore, is not a passive act, but a dialogue. When you offer your conscious attention to light, you direct the reception of photonic information. Breathing slowly at dawn, eyes closed, imagining your body as a form of light that you remember, means allowing matter to realign with its source. The observer and the observed coincide. The sun looks at us as we look at it. All traditions from east to west recognized an inner sun in the human body. The Egyptians called it Ib, the seat of the vital fire. The Indians Manipura, the solar plexus chakra. The Taoists Dantian, the cinnabar field. The alchemists, the philosophical sun. The Kabbalists Tiferet, the radiant center of the tree of life. All identified the same point between the navel and the heart as the energetic hub of the being. In that region, the most complex nervous system after the brain is concentrated, and most of the serotonin, the molecule of clarity and serenity, is produced, the synthesis of which depends on sunlight. When the area darkens due to fear or sadness, the entire organism weakens. When light passes through it, the body reorganizes. Awakening the inner sun is a physiological, not a mystical act. Tantric texts describe the solar plexus as a 10-petaled golden lotus. Meditating on it during the dawn generates inner warmth and clarity. Contemporary science confirms that this practice activates the vagus nerve, harmonizes the nervous system, and stimulates the secretion of serotonin. Taoist Qigong also aims for the same goal, inhaling light into the center of the belly and allowing it to expand like a sphere of light throughout the body. Neurophysiologist Michael Gershon discovered that the gut has its own autonomic nervous system, the so-called second brain, capable of producing neurotransmitters and directly influencing emotions and health. Paolo Prandoni demonstrated that sunlight improves the gut microbiota and enhances mental well-being. When the heart, gut, and brain vibrate in unison, a state is created that mystics call enlightenment and science calls psychophysiological coherence. Every morning, sitting in silence after exposure to light, placing your hands on your solar plexus and breathing while visualizing a golden sphere growing and spreading heat allows you to feel the light permeating your entire body. This simple gesture reactivates awareness of your luminous nature. You don't seek the light, you recognize it. Within us burns a dawn that knows no sunset. Humanity has traveled a long path, from the temples of Ra to the laboratories of quantum physics, but every path converges on the same truth. Man is made of sunlight. Oblivion of this origin has generated disease, alienation, and inner darkness. Modern civilization, enclosed within artificial spaces, has lost touch with the natural rhythm of the sun, and therein lies its deepest struggle. Yet memory is not lost. Every cell retains the memory of the first ray that awakened it. The science of epigenetics shows that genes respond to the environment and that consciously received light activates regenerative programs. When an individual realigns with the sun, their biological coherence influences those around them. The resonance of awakening is contagious. Ancient civilizations erected solar monuments to remind posterity of their luminous origins. Today, as technology measures biophotons and frequencies, we are rediscovering what they knew without instruments. Light organizes life. Every time we expose ourselves to the sun with awareness, we participate in the same cosmic memory that united Egyptian priests, yogis, alchemists, and scientists. To breathe, to give thanks, and to feel the earth pulsate beneath our feet means to return home. When all humanity remembers that it is made of the sun, the night will no longer be feared. It will only be the rest of the light, awaiting its next song. The return of the light is not a future event, but an inner awakening. Every dawn experienced in our presence is an act of reconciliation between body and cosmos. Light does not fight darkness, it dissolves it by reminding it of its nature. Every creature is a ray of the one sun that never fades, and whoever recognizes this, even for an instant, walks in endless clarity. You've just crossed the path of light, from the outer sun to the inner one, and perhaps now something within you has come to remember. It's not fantasy, it's your very essence reawakening. If this journey has inspired you or even just piqued your curiosity, fuel its energy by sharing your excitement, writing a comment with what you felt resonate with you, and subscribing to continue exploring the mysteries that unite science and spirit. Every gesture, every shared word is like a ray that expands the common light. I hope you always walk with the sun in your heart and never forget that you yourself are its purest emanation. See you soon, traveler of light.